As you grow as a programmer and take on new things, you will discover that there's a lot you don't know. And at some point, you will discover that the best way to take on a challenge is to find an example that is sort of kind of similar to what you want, cut and paste the code, and then tweak it until it works. And people sometimes ask, is this an okay thing for a programmer to do? And I'm going to give my answer to that. And the answer is yes. It's not ideal. If you find yourself doing this a lot, you should definitely work on getting more proficient in whatever tools you're using. But as you're learning something new or using something that perhaps you don't use very often, it's perfectly fine. This art of software development. In software development, 99 times out of 100, your goal should not be to impress other software developers. Your goal should be to solve a problem. If cutting and pasting code gets you to your solution more quickly, go for it. It's not perfect, it's not ideal, but it gets the job done. What you should, however, think about doing is practicing and working on learning things. That being said, there will always be obscure corners of whatever toolset you're using that you just don't use very often. That, this particular piece of the API is something you're going to look at, once every 3 years. You just, for your particular set of tasks, it's just not that interesting. So in those cases, should you cut and paste code? Yeah, it is not a terrible way to do it. Should we point it out, musicians classically have borrowed and stolen from each other for centuries. Lots of other forms, architects riff on each other's ideas and have for hundreds, if not thousands of years. So as programmers, we should certainly consider doing this. However, we should understand why we're doing it and when. Anyway, I hope that was useful to you. And I hope that if you are a junior programmer, you are not ashamed of this fact. You are learning. We are all learning something. And a good programmer should always be learning.